Hi there, welcome to Monetise Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FAB. My name is Hetty, the entrepreneur, and every week we bring you a fantastic entrepreneur that's doing phenomenal work within their area of expertise. And of course, this week is no different. But you know how we do things over here. I'm not flying this plane on my own. I've got my trusted co-pilot with me, Papa Biz. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm very excited for the conversation we're going to be having here, and all power to it.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a really, really great one. Today we've got Miyelani Baloyi, who is a fantastic entrepreneur, somebody that you should know and should actually be following on social media. If you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to get all the relevant skills, training and development, then he's the fantastic guy to do that. Welcome, Miyelani, to this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Nice one.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to unpacking all the amazing work you do, particularly with entrepreneurs who are our audience of this podcast. But before we get into that, perhaps it would be good to get to know you a little bit better. If you can just share with us who you are, where you grew up, just your early context.
My early context. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to this conversation as well. So originally I'm from Limpopo, in a very remote area called Guruleni. So when I actually left Limpopo to this side, and I heard of a place called Guruleni as well, I was a little bit confused.
That's true.
Which one is this?
Which one is this?
But then I came to Joburg in 2011. That's when I came to study at UJ. That was, of course, 2 to 3 years. I had about 2 to 3 years gap between my matric and me coming to varsity, but part of it was because I grew up in a little bit of a broken family in a way. So after matric, no one had a plan for anyone. So it was a thing of part of the reason why there was a gap. But then I remember there was a cousin of mine who told me about NSFAS. He said, "Dude, no, you can actually go and study because my marks were like good and all that kind of stuff." But then he said, "No, you can actually go and study. There's a thing called NSFAS you can apply." So took advantage of that, and then coming to Joburg. That's basically how I ended up in varsity, because in my family, no one really had basically the first person to come to varsity. So that's how I ended up in Joburg. And then post that, I started a very weird course, if weird is the word. So I studied anthropology.
Anthropology? Really?
And part of the reason why I studied anthropology was because it was a late application. Not late application. The course that I applied for was full, so I didn't get any response.
What is anthropology?
Anthropology basically studies the evolution of humankind. You know, the thing that humans evolved from monkey, baboon.
But that's actually quite fascinating.
So I went there. Part of it was because the course I applied for was full, and then it was a late application. This was basically one of the courses that we left there. And the reason why I picked anthropology, part of it was because I once saw a guy on TV when I was young.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but I know that his title was he was an anthropologist. So I've seen this word before, because I literally had no clue in terms of what we're doing
what
in
you're
varsity.
doing, what you're gonna study,
what I was going to study, and orientation week I wasn't even there. But then I remember that guy I saw on TV. Then I thought to myself, I want to be on TV one day. So let me just speak anthropology. And then I went in, but then year one, I don't know what it was, as I said. Went in year one, and I'm realizing, what is this? And then we told us the whole journey of how humans have evolved. But fast forward, third year, I completed my qualification. While I was studying, I remember when I met my girlfriend, then now my wife, she used to wonder, where are you going to work? Are you going to work at the zoo? Because I actually made peace with the fact that it's either work at the Cradle of Humankind, where we studied skulls and all that kind of stuff, or I go to the zoo because I'll be a tour guide or something. But then it's weird how life works. Sometimes. And later on, I actually started working at MultiChoice. I got a job at MultiChoice at the time. So they were looking for a research analyst.
Okay.
And in my final year, I did part of it had to do with research. So I was like, let me just take advantage of this little thing I have.
Yes.
And then that's how I got my first job at MultiChoice.
Wow.
And that I actually spent about 98.8% of my career life with MultiChoice.
Oh, wow.
So
that's different from the zoo, huh?
Far cry from a tour guide. You did well
Very
for
different,
yourself.
very different from that. Very different, but yeah. So in short, that's basically the the early part of my life, and actually where my career started. Before we even talk about pursuing other things outside, what I studied.
I'm curious, just to interrupt you there a little bit, because
Yeah.
sometimes we think our life is going to take a particular trajectory, and then it just takes a different turn. But even in the midst of that, we just find a way to work around it. You did that once with the anthropology, and then even going into now multi-choice, where you could have been at the zoo,
I could have been at a zoo.
or somewhere else. What are kind of the lessons that you've kind of learned in that stage, just from that experience? And even then going to NSFAS and saying, actually, let me then try something. Instead of sitting at home, here's an option for me. Let me try. And are there some nuggets that you got from that season of your life?
Yeah, at the time, it felt like what's happening with my life. I felt like my life had no clear direction, because back to when I was young, my mom and dad divorced when I was like 8 and all that kind of stuff. So I remember my brother wanted to go with my dad, I wanted to go with my mom, and then we ended up going with my mom. So I grew up in my grandmother's house. But then with that whole background in place, I think the biggest learning for me was, and I think it to a certain extent, it was a little bit of a mindset shift that I needed as well. I started to embrace the journey for what it is, because I feel like for a very long time I used to kind of see my future through what I had studied, and it took me time to kind of start opening myself to anthropology is what I studied, but I'm not it. It's part of what I learned on the way, so I shouldn't allow myself, I shouldn't define myself through what I have studied. And it took me time to break free from there, because I had, even when I was at multi-choice, I still thought, I didn't easily open up to learning other things. Anything that had to do with things that had nothing to do with what I had studied, because my mindset was, I studied this, it means I would appreciate more qualitative research instead of this. So that battle happened. But the biggest learning for me was, we are not what we go through. We are not what we've learned, but we are ourselves. So I think I had a moment where the moment it landed that, okay, anthropology is what I studied, but I'm not it, but I need to go and find myself.
100%.
Because for a long time I defined myself through that. And it took me time to really, really find myself. It's a progressive journey. It's an ongoing exercise where you, outside my daily job, but what else can I just believe that there's more to me than my daily job. Also because of, I came this route of studying anthropology, ended up in research, and then we're doing content, we're doing marketing, and then opening yourself up to what life has to bring. For me, that has been the biggest learning, to actually say that moments come and then they pass. We are not those moments. We are ourselves, but we need to really connect with ourselves and really find ourselves, because I believe that's the only way that we can be able to build anything sustainable.
100%.
Anyway,
So now I'm trying to understand now. So how did you then get into business? I mean, how did that come about?
Fair question. Interesting one. Part of it was I was curious. But part of it was that I believe there was more to me than waking up in the morning and working. Because in a way I felt that kind of limited me, and I thought, let me explore other ways to kind of bring value to the market, in a way. So as I started, I didn't know what I was doing. Me leaning on my academic background, I always felt like I didn't know enough. So, but me feeling like I didn't know enough kind of became the main reason why I stretched myself. I learned, I explored stuff to kind of be in a place where I think I'll be in a better position to help other people. But then what actually led to me venturing into business was that. So I believe that there's more. And for some people, more can mean more work, moving up the ladder. But for some people, it can mean that, let me just step outside this context and see what we can actually do outside. So my inspiration basically came from there. So when I've ventured into other things before where I am now, So anything I ventured into and it didn't work out, I didn't take it too personal because I would always feel like, plus I didn't have the background because I thought the academic background is basically what defines you. But then when things didn't work out, I said, okay, but I didn't have the strong base, so it's fine. Let me just push further and see what I can actually learn. So that statement that says I don't know enough, for some it can serve as a limitation.
Yes.
But for me, I used it to stretch myself and see what I can actually deliver.
Yeah.
So then I think going in line with that, maybe just tell us a bit more about your business.
What I do, So on the business side of things and how I ended up here. When I started, actually, as I said, I was trying to explore and finding a gap in the market in terms of where can I be valuable. I have these skills.
Yes.
Who needs this? So when I started, I used to register email addresses. So the only thing I had access to was AfriHost.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, cool. Let me look for, since I know how to register domain names and set up email system. Let me just look for small businesses that are in that who are still using Gmail.
Yes.
So I would reach out, hi, Miyelani, I saw you still using Gmail. Country, do you want to make your business more professional? That's basically the first thing I was doing. Went into building sites, went into content, went into social media marketing. So it was an expansion of things. And part of the reason why I said I kept on exploring to actually get to a place where I feel like I found my feet where I am. So in terms of what I do on the business side, it's business design and strat, which I'm going to try and unpack. So who we serve specifically, it's mainly emerging businesses and established businesses. So for emerging businesses, it's more on entrepreneurs who still have the ideas and they would like to transform those ideas into living, breathing businesses. So that's basically where we actually come in. But then for established businesses, should you want to, with the context changing around us, consumer needs and preferences changing, the context is evolving, so there's a need for most businesses to kind of rethink how they're actually doing business. Absolutely. So should a business want to reposition, remodel, or repackage their offer? So that's basically the transformation part. That's basically what my company does, and which is separate from what I do. But again, that's the space that we actually are playing in. And I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of SMEs, both in SA and outside.
Or even outside.
And I've been outside, so we had guys from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Uganda. But my experience working with these organizations, from your SMEs to established ones, kind of exposed me to something that also happened to form the very foundation of my business. I mean, more cemented where I am now, and it exposed me to some of the biggest pain points, the biggest challenges, and stuff that worked, stuff that didn't work out, stuff that would keep them awake at night. I feel like it's where the real transformation, even on the business side, actually came, because I moved past obsessing about services and products to trying to understand, but what are businesses trying to solve? What pain points are they trying to address? So that part of the conversation also happened to form the very foundation of what I do on the consulting side, to say, before there's a product, there is a pain that the market is trying to solve.
Exactly.
Before there is a solution, that there is a problem that business owners are trying to address. So if we can move past the product, trying to understand the pain or the gain that they're trying to achieve, I think that has been, like as I've mentioned, the very foundation of what I do. But it has become the most empowering thing.
Yes.
At some point, I remember we used to. Part of it was because I talk a lot about positioning. Part of it was because I had a very flawed understanding of what positioning is. But then I used to think that people buy products because they're cheap, or they buy stuff because it's cheap, without understanding that people buy stuff because they solve a problem, a specific problem that they're trying to address. So starting out, we used to have posters, with company details and a very long list of services, and we pump money behind social media, hoping that we're going to get clients. Right? They went on, we pump money for all your web design services, come to us. For affordable services, come to us. And I went for the affordable route because I was not in a place where I could clearly articulate what value we bring to the market.
Yes.
So I thought if we're the cheapest, then it makes sense people are going to come. But then over time, it led me to a place where I was a little bit frustrated. I realized in 3 to 6 months, there's no client still, and we're pushing on the ads. But then that frustration is actually what forced me to, okay, cool. But, I used to think that this is what people want. They want cheap or affordable stuff. But we still have no business.
No business.
My biggest frustration was, what exactly do people want?
What do they actually want?
What do you guys want?
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you guys want? But that forced me to move past the poster, the services that we're offering, to say, but what are they trying to solve?
Yeah.
So with a better understanding of what they're trying to solve, I would think I would be more empowered to speak to the pain points and position myself as the solution to those particular pain points that they're trying to address.
Yeah. It's interesting because in the positioning of yourself, you show up quite a bit on social media, sharing your knowledge, sharing your insights. How has that journey been for you? Because a lot of people say they're afraid to show up on social media. They've got all of this knowledge and insight.
Yeah.
How did you break through the barrier to do that?
I think it's a mindset shift, and the moment that landed on my end, I think it's the one thing that really transformed everything. I often tell people social media made me.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And when I say it made me, I mean it actually took. I actually had a very bad stomach when I was growing up. The shy part.
Really?
It was so bad that I literally I excluded myself. I removed myself from people.
Yes.
I enjoyed being alone because they used to laugh at me.
Of course.
They used to laugh, and I didn't take that well. I actually internalized that.
Yes.
So I internalized it. So part of it for me was, okay, cool. I have a very bad stomach. And those kids in primary school used to laugh at me. And I think I overstayed there for a very long time. But then when I had to show my face, I used to hide. If hiding is the word, because I never wanted to show my face. I thought, let's push. And the pushing I'm talking about when I said we were pushing services and all that, it was behind the company page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was no face there.
There was no face to it.
And part of it was because,
the faceless content.
Yes, I was shy. I was afraid to gonna. I used to think it's funny how I used to think that there's already people in the space. Who am I? The thing of who am I and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
But then I got to a point where I thought to myself, okay, cool. We all have opinions.
Yes.
You share your opinions.
Yes.
And it is your opinion.
Yes.
So the fact that you sharing your opinion doesn't mean that I shouldn't share mine.
Okay.
So that's for me, that was the starting point. But still, sharing my face I never had a video. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this video thing. But I met a guy, Banks, Talipani Banks.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Talipani.
Yeah.
So I remember, when was it? The content sharing thing is very recent. I started in 2022. I met him. I said, dude, how are you doing it? How you? He said, and this is the advice he gave me. I always talk about it, and he also knows. He said to me, Miyelani, you need to find a topic and you build your name around that topic.
Yes.
Until people can't talk about the topic without talking about you.
Brilliant.
That's how he is.
Brilliant advice.
That's very brilliant, yeah.
And the penny dropped for you.
For me, that was I said to myself, I'm like, we had it was an hour to 2 hour chat that we had. But then that's the one thing that I walked away with.
Yes.
I thought, okay, cool. Nobody's going to come to me unless they know that I exist. They are aware that I exist.
Yes.
And I represent something very specific. So that's the one thing that actually, it's because of him.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant.
That I decided to shine is away. This fear thing needs to go away. Let's just do content. That's when I started my first video.
Taking it back now.
I still remember my first video. You guys, I was wearing it. Funny enough, I was wearing a pajama.
Really?
I didn't know it was a pajama. I went to Woolworths. Like I'm a guy. I don't remember. Maybe I'm ignorant, right?
Yes.
So I went to Woolworths, And at Woolworths, someone displaced that little top.
Yes,
And
they
they
do
put
it
it
nicely.
Nice. So this thing
On a
is
mannequin and everything.
Thank you. So this thing is so comfortable. I took it in a wallet. And I recorded my first video on somebody told me, so why are you in your pajama? What pajama are you talking about? He said, no, I have that. It's a two-piece. I'm like, yeah, it is a two-piece. I think it's a pajama. But anyway, that was my first video.
Yes.
And of course, I was starting out. It was... I kept that video somewhere.
Yeah.
So one day I'm going to go back and watch this video.
Exactly.
So this was my very first video. But it was just a mental shift. And I think I found someone who would guide me in the right direction to say it's not about the fact that there's other people already talking about the same topic.
Yeah.
Find your own voice.
Exactly.
And own it.
Exactly.
To a point that people can separate the topic from you.
Yes.
You basically have become one.
That's
so
brilliant.
that's the thing for me.
Sure, that's
because I've actually seen as well, like you've migrated as well now where there's masterclasses and so on. I mean, tell us about that.
The masterclass part of it, right? So, as I said, I love teaching. For some reason, I always say that the Department of Education would have had a very great asset with me being a teacher. But I love it. Beyond what the business side of it.
Yes.
It's something I really, really love. So, basically, with the masterclass part of it, it also came from the content side of it to say, okay, I have this body of knowledge, I have this expertise, I'm posting on social media, but the impact is not as massive. How about bring people in one room? Everything I'm sharing, I'm teaching, sharing content, we come together in a room and we discuss real business issues.
Yes.
And the first one, I remember, the first one was, I didn't tell my wife because she thinks I'm a little bit crazy sometimes.
Of course, that's how they are.
Oh, is it?
With the crazy ones.
Like, because she would, I said I want to, when I mentioned it to her, I said, you know what, we've been sharing content. I feel like I just want to amplify this part of it. So how about we have people in a room where we have real business cases that we actually deal with live and everybody can actually see it.
Okay.
And she was like, so how are you going to do it? I said, I don't know. But I'm going to do it. Then she asked me too many other questions and I didn't have answers. Then I got frustrated. Then I stopped telling her everything. So according to her, I had parked that whole idea.
Yeah.
On the other side, I was executing it.
Wow.
But the whole idea was, I think I've actually, not that I think, but I've tested some of these concepts and frameworks and mental models, and I've seen that they actually work.
Yes.
And I thought, let's use this platform to kind of empower others who at some point didn't know what they were doing. They had zero idea what they were doing, because for me that was the whole journey. I knew nothing. I had no idea what I was doing, but I kept on stretching myself to build myself in a very specific way. So masterclasses are meant to kind of bridge the gap. Those who are still a little bit on the fence, they don't know what they're doing, they need some sort of clarity, they have the idea, they don't know how to transform it. Or maybe you have an established business, but you can see that the context is changing too fast, and you see the need to kind of rethink how you build, how you market, and how you package. So that's where the masterclass and workshops actually came in.
And are you seeing a big need and a hunger among entrepreneurs for this type of knowledge and information?
There is a huge gap.
Yeah.
There is a huge gap, and funny enough that not even an essay. I got to a point with guys from Botswana, from Zambia, who actually DM me.
Yes.
So the whole content journey, the question you asked about, how has that been? Because I would post and then I'll only get 1 like and 2 likes, and then I almost got discouraged.
Yes.
But then funny enough, when I continue to do that, people who don't even engage with your content, they're going to the DMs, and I'm struggling with my businesses. We're actually going through this and this. Can you help us?
Yes.
So with the masterclass and the content in my head, I saw the need, because there were people saying there's a need for what you're doing, even in Zambia.
Yes.
He said there's a huge gap between those who are starting out and the big consultants out there. No one is taking care of the knowledge of the gap that actually exists. If you can't afford the big guys, it means you have no one to actually empower you. So that for me was also like some sort of a confirmation that there is a need for what we're actually doing.
Definitely.
Because part of what frustrates people is also coming from a place of they don't know what to do. They don't know better. But if we start having conversations that are empowering in the sense that if you have an idea, you can transform that idea into a business, and there's someone who's guiding you through that whole journey. I think that's the best thing to actually.
Yes, absolutely. So if a business comes to you and they're at the ideation phase and they're looking for guidance to help them on the journey to really launching a profitable business, how long does a journey like that take?
It depends on a number of factors, right?
Yeah.
But what I always do is we always go back to, okay, you build this idea, you have this idea, but what is it based on?
Exactly.
Right? And the reason being that we want to try and understand, are we solving a valuable pain that the market is trying to solve?
True.
Because we can run with an idea or build a business around something that's not urgent or that the market doesn't even care enough about to actually solve. So the starting point is, let's understand, is it a valuable pain? Is it an urgent pain? Is it a painful pain that the market wants to pay someone money for to kind of solve?
Yeah.
And then from that understanding, then we're able to package an offer that really will speak to the needs of the market. Not only speak to the need of the market, but it actually compels people to kind of take you up on your offer.
Yes.
Because if you create an offer around, as I've said, something that is not important, that's not urgent, that's not painful enough, you realize that people don't actually buy into the idea, or they don't buy the product, and we get frustrated that sales are not coming through without realizing that we're actually selling something that nobody wants.
They're not willing to spend money on it.
They're not willing to spend money on it. So the whole journey differs on a number of factors, and one of them is that let's build a solid understanding around that. But then when you have uncovered the right problem to solve, you build a project around that. Now we go to market. What do we say when you go to market? The positioning part of it. How do we brand? How do we position? How do we communicate? Because those are also important factors when it comes to you ending up having a solid business. Because you can have a great idea, but if it's poorly positioned, you find that it's actually failed. Not because we're not solving a pain that the market doesn't care about. The market cares about it, but you fail to position it to clearly communicate its value in a way that your target market actually get it.
Yes.
So it's almost like with people where they'll see a gap in the market and then going with them to identify, is there actually a market
for this
in that gap?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's fascinating. And I'm sure very, very valuable for the entrepreneur, because,
very valuable.
Also when you're very close to the product or the service, it's hard for you to actually see things objectively. You need that third eye, that well-informed eye to now come in and help you unpack to see a lot better. So that makes a lot of sense. As we begin to wrap up this conversation, gosh, I feel like we could literally go on forever and ever. What type of words of kind of advice would you give to entrepreneurs who really want to compete within this digital new age that we are in?
Okay, what I would actually say that it's becoming noisier every day. Everyone's trying to build a name for themselves, and my advice would be known for something specific.
Yes.
Be known to solve very specific problems that the market is trying to solve. Because part of the challenges that maybe we kind of face as SMEs is that you want to be everything at the same time.
At the same time,
we want to be holding companies, but there's no value that you're actually holding.
Yes.
What you're struggling with basically is you're struggling to choose a focus. Now, I remember this site I've been to, and this company does so many things, but when I look at it, I can see that this person just started. But they're afraid to say, I want to be known, this is me, I want to be known for this.
For this, my speciality.
This is the space, because that's the only way you get to build authority in any space. So stop being everywhere, find yourself, find something specific that the market is trying to solve and build around that. But consistency over time in a particular space, it's what gives you authority in any space.
Oh, fantastic. That's such a great nugget. I've taken away quite a lot of nuggets actually from this conversation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Papa Piz, let me throw the ball into your court just to hear a little bit from you in terms of what your nuggets have been from today's conversation.
I was listening to you when you spoke about how you started off in terms of, looking at businesses, for email addresses to professionalize and how it's migrated since. Because a lot of people, they struggle with an idea, or they'll see you running with this and they don't know where to start. And it actually reminds me, I just finished this book, From Good to Great. And one of the concepts that it talks about there is around a windmill. So you see a windmill, initially to get it to move, when you start off, it's not actually going to move. And you exert energy and it moves just a little bit. And the more you move it, it moves just a little bit more and more until it starts circulating over time and starts to pull and draw water. Now, if you have to ask somebody which was the most important push, well, I'd say the first push, because that first push, you didn't really know what was going to happen, and you don't even know how it's going to end. And that's something that I've actually taken out of your story, in terms of when one looks at where it starts off and how it's morphed over time. It's quite a powerful story, just to be able to encourage other entrepreneurs, because it's always growing, always evolving, and taking it one step at a time.
I absolutely love that. In fact, I think for me, my biggest nugget, Miyelani, just chatting with you, is I'm so inspired by your journey, because you didn't know what the final destination was, but it's to say, okay, what can I do today? What can I learn from today? And then tomorrow, what can I do tomorrow? And somehow along the way, you've just been able to build and build and build until you've got this consultancy now. Now you're doing such incredible and amazing work, and I must say important work, because it's also helping to shape our country, our economy. SMEs need individuals like yourself, and just the fact that there's even demand in other countries, it shows how important this work is. So thank you so much for the contribution that you're making.
Thank you.
Tell me, if somebody is watching this and they're thinking, gosh, they need you. They need your help. They need your expertise, your guidance. How can they get in touch with you?
I'm on social media, on Instagram. It's Miyelani _Baloyi. And on the Miyelani side, it's Miyelani. Then _ Baloyi, it should be...
Yep, self-explanatory, yep.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can just DM me, or you can look for my numbers. They're actually available on the site, on my website as well.
Okay. All right.
Good
Fantastic.
stuff.
Thank you so much. It's
Thank
been such a fantastic conversation. Monetizers, I highly encourage you to find Miyelani on social media. Get in touch, get connected. This brings us to the end of yet another powerful and insightful conversation. Make sure you're connecting with us. It's at Monetise Your Business on all social media platforms, and plug into our physical workshops as well. Until the next conversation.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.